Hello, everyone. Cindy Olin here. Happy Thursday. Excited to have you guys here. And let me know. I'm curious. Give me a thumbs up if you've been triggered or you've taken things really personally in a dating scenario, pre-dating scenario, or in a relationship. Love to hear it. I know I have. And that's part of the reason why I want to speak into this piece and support you guys around anything that might be coming up. So, number one, we can, we can all get triggered or take things personally or, you know, think that something's happening that may not be really happening. So it's the stories that we can create in our mind quite quickly that can actually even make or break a true connection. So it's, let me give you an example of that. A client of mine had, she's been dating and, she's dating one gentleman right now that seems to be the front runner, right? He's the one that's really showing up and she messages me, a week or so ago and says, "Oh, I haven't heard from him in a couple days. I suppose I probably won't hear from him again. Oh well, time to move on." Right? And then I said, give him some time. He's definitely going to reach out to you. I just knew, given what she had shared with me about what their connection was and how things have been going. So, she, and the next day, of course, he had reached out to her later on that day, and the next day they had plans to go to dinner. So I'm sharing this with you because oftentimes when you're in early dating or even in relationship, we can have the expectation. So that's expectations equal taking things personally. So we can have the expectation of, oh, things are moving along quite nicely. He should be messaging me every day. And if he doesn't do that, there's this, panic mode that happens, or this feeling of, well, gosh, he's just not going to show up. So, and that comes from a self-protected place, right? Nobody wants to get hurt. And, quite frankly, all of you ladies that are watching this, that are, out there dating, out there, really committed to their love life, and your vision and what you're creating in your love life is super brave, because this is an area of life that can be the most challenging, quite frankly, because in business, yes, are there things that go wrong? Absolutely. Are there things that, obviously don't go your way? Absolutely. However, there's much more control around navigating that. The things we can't control are what? People, places, and things. So, how do we not take things personally? Well, I'm going to give you some tools here, and the number one tool is coming from a place of observing, right? So looking at, let's just say you're on a dating site and you're messaging with someone and they seem really interesting and great, and you're interested in really getting to know this person, and he seems to feel the same way. and things go to a certain point, and then maybe he disappears, or you have a phone conversation with him and it doesn't lead to a date. So what might be coming up for you is, oh wow, he didn't really like me, or he didn't really like what he heard on the phone, or he's, we can really make it about us. And when you haven't met somebody, there's not a whole lot to base it on. You can't really make it about you. You just can't. I mean, a lot of times when things don't transpire into a full meeting, there's just so many distractions out there. It's like the wild, wild west, you guys. So again, that's not personal. He's not saying to you, oh gosh, I don't like you. I like green eyes, not blue, or whatever, right? But the thing is that, and I think this is something that every woman needs to hear. So listen up. If he's chosen you on an app or a dating site and your pictures are recent, he's choosing you. He's choosing you because he's attracted to your look. He's attracted to also something that he sees in your profile. So, I've had, women or clients come back to me and, say, oh, he wasn't, he, he felt like my body style wasn't what he was looking for. And frankly, I believe that's an excuse behind another excuse. And that can be tough, right? Hearing that. So how do we come from a place of, this is not about me, and, trusting in the journey and the process that, the right person is going to come along. Is the right person going to trigger you? Absolutely. And, when you're navigating online, you want to take it with a grain of salt. Men don't really get attached to a woman at all until he meets her. As women, we tend to future trip a lot. So if we see a guy online that seems to have the qualities and says some things that seem really great to us, we can go down this pathway of, who this person is and what our lives could be like together when we don't even know them. So there's a huge value, you guys, in getting to know multiple people at a time. A client of mine that, she, she was kind of, it's like she was revving up her engine. She would date a little bit here and there and kind of, pull back because she wasn't that motivated. And then, all of a sudden, we had a conversation and she just decided to fully commit and just go all in, because her vision of creating lasting love is bigger than her fears, her doubts of, of what's going on out there, right? And so she's got a good little man funnel going right now. And what's cool is that, instead of, she reaches out to me when she starts to see herself taking something personally. She might be communicating with somebody that seems really great to meet, and, she doesn't hear from them for a couple days, and I always say, just give him some time. He will reach out. They always do. And sure enough, that's what's been happening. However, if when we take things personally, we think, oh, it's personal, it's about us, we can be triggered into doing something, going forward, chasing, right? So instead of, in lieu of doing that, really learning how to show up in the sense of, okay, so here's where I'm at. Here's where the status is. Maybe we've gone out on 1 or 2 dates. What what are the facts? The fact is that he's showing up, things are moving forward. Things may not be moving as quickly as what my past self has. So, I'll have clients say, oh, he's not messaging me every day. He's not, and that's okay. It's great. It's actually better to move slower in the beginning for things to build upon each other, for things to, continue to connect and grow. So knowing that piece, what are you taking personally? You go out on a couple dates with someone, he doesn't call you back. So we can, and you kind of liked him. You thought, gosh, this one could have some potential. So it's not personal though. He might have heard something from you or taken something, because men create stories too that he felt like just didn't really work for him, like you've done with other people. So, send him love. But it's still not about you personally. It's not a personal attack. So know that piece, know that, and continue. It's not always easy, right? Because it can feel like rejection. But if that happens, repeat after me and utilize this practice. Oh, okay. So God, the universe, spirit is moving someone out of my way to make room for the right man to come in. And, I'm talking more about dating and relating, but if you're in relationship and something happens and you feel triggered or you feel hurt or you're taking something to heart, the best thing to do is to actually ask a question. Well, I heard you say this, and I'm a little confused on what you mean by that, or I heard you say this, and this is how I feel when someone shares that with me. So your man, your guy, the one that is your real partner, he, and most people out there anyway, he doesn't want to make you feel bad. And he might, say something like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry that it came out that way. Here's what I really meant. Or I did mean this, and here's the context. To support you around clarity, because oftentimes we're walking around out there in this world and we're missing one another. We're like, communication's going this way, communication's going that way. It's going above our heads, beneath our toes, because we're not really engaged or listening. So if you get engaged and you listen and you get curious, it can help those triggers, those things that we tend to take personally, and support you around that. Also, look at the person. I was talking to my assistant the other day, and we were talking about how we communicate, how we might communicate in business versus our personal relationships. So, she was telling me how she might respond to me with an okay or a thank you, or, something that's just short or maybe just generic. And when she's communicating with her stepdaughter, that she has a really close relationship with, if her stepdaughter says, okay, she literally will start to get triggered, like, oh, does that mean she's upset with me? We can go into those stories, but instead we talked about this, and she's like, oh, I'm going to trust that everything's okay, everything's great. She's just responding to my message with okay. Text messages, our world nowadays is can really make us take things in a way that isn't truly what is meant to be said. So, at any rate, I hope this helps you. Let me know I would love to hear your biggest takeaway, or even your biggest challenge around, dating and relationships, and anything that might come up around how do I reframe this in my mind so I don't take this personally, and how do I communicate around that? All right, sending you so much love. Have an amazing rest of your day. And also, just as a quick reminder, I am doing my love stream this evening at 4 p.m. Pacific to 7 p.m. with amazing experts, Larry Michael, Adam Galad, Nicole Haley, Carol Allen, and we're going to be sharing so much generous information. And we have a bundle of amazing goodies for you that, when you purchase, all the proceeds are going to the California wildfire victims. So we're super passionate about this project. We're super passionate about supporting you in your love life and really creating your own luck and love. So sending you much love. I hope to see you tonight, and so happy to have been able to share with you today. Mwah. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.